I'm Sammy Silvas, and this is my speech project, and here's my audience. My good friend Eliseo, my dad Chris Silvas, my mom Robin Silvas, my brother Chris Silvas Jr., and his fiancee Claire. More Than a Car by Sammy Silvas. As said in Transformers, a relationship with the car is a mystic bond between man and machine. From the setups to the maintenance doing on these cars, all different than any car you would see on the street. I started racing go-karts whenever I was 10 years old, and I started racing cars whenever I was 14. Many know this as an addiction that needs to be fed. Throughout this presentation, I'll explain the ins and outs of short track racing that the fans in the stands don't get to see. The importance of weight and setup. Gutting a car comes in handy really because you have to take out everything that doesn't make the car faster or slow it down. That means anything from the headliner to the carpet. This allows you to go below the weight limit that's required so you can strategically place the weight where it will benefit you on the track. Motor Trend's article on weight distribution and weight transfer goes into deep detail on how important this is. So much as little as 2 ounces could throw off the car to make it undrivable. The suspension is key to winning races. It allows you to get the most that you can out of your motor while still being able to control the car. Half a second could be the difference between finishing in the money and going home empty-handed. The shocks and alignment are really the only adjustments that you could have. Being that you're racing a short track, you know that you're always going to be turning left, so you would want to adjust your suspension and alignment accordingly to make you want to go left. The driving technique is very different whether you're going on asphalt or dirt. Tires with tread are obviously used for dirt tracks, so you can grip into the dirt and get going. While slicks you would use on asphalt, so you have as much tire surface as you can on the smooth pavement. Braking on asphalt, you would adjust your brakes all the way to the front, so the tail end follows the front. Braking in on entry of the turn on the apex, which is the corner, and accelerating through the middle of the turn and on exit. And braking on dirt is the opposite. You want your brakes all the way in the back, so when you come into the turn way harder, tap the brakes and it sends you sideways so you can just hit the gas all throughout the turn. Now the gear that we have to wear, you're strapped in by a 5-point harness, and this here is called the Hans device. It's this neck brace. The shoulder belts on the harness go over it, and it hooks to your helmet to restrict any neck movement on impact. Don Sherman from Car and Drivers brought up that there was only 250 sold in the 90s. But whenever Dale Earnhardt died in 2001 at the Daytona 500, there was 250 more sold in just 1 week. Now there's been over 140,000 sold in total. Our helmets also have tear-offs, which go over the visor here whenever we're racing on dirt, and you just tear them off whenever they get dirty or whatever. You just have to remember to count them so you don't run out. You also wear a fire suit, fire protective gloves, and fire shoes. The track awareness, obviously that's very important. You have a little radio inside with you, plugged into some headphones, and you're listening to your spotter, so he tells you if there's a wreck going down or where to go whenever you line up after a caution. Knowing position is very important to know how aggressive you are able to drive and know where you can be on the track. Listening to your surroundings is also very important because it lets you know if someone's coming up on your left or your right. The temp change really affects how the car runs. Whenever it's hotter temperature, the molecules are further spread apart, so it allows for humidity, which doesn't allow as much oxygen to get in with the gas mixture. Whenever the air is cold, the molecules are tighter, which allows for a higher oxygen content for the fuel to burn better. A cold track on asphalt isn't very sticky at all because it doesn't let the rubber heat up. But a hot track, it gets real sticky, and that's prime condition to race. On dirt tracks, whenever they're cold, it gets real dry and dusty, and you won't be able to slide or nothing. But a hot dirt track really traps in the humidity and the water, allowing you to slide and race like you normally would. Racing really requires a lot of late nights in the garage, quick thinking behind the wheel, and the will to keep going even whenever it gets tough and you have to put in some sacrifices. Before stepping into this game, you really have to know what it takes and be ready to feed the addiction.